Hello, hello, hello. What is up? Good evening, good people, or good morning. My name is Control for Days. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my video. Thank you for joining me. Today is a Friday, so what we are going to be doing is running through a modern league with the deck Golgari Yawgmoth, and we are going to be playing a competitive build of the deck. Today's list is fairly stock. I'm going to run you through the card choices, why we are taking these choices and making these choices, and then we're going to jump into our league match. The 75 today is version 9.9. You can find it linked in the description below. It is under the stat sheet link, and then if you just click on the Stream Decker for the corresponding deck list, you can find the entire list there if you're looking for it. Today's list, our main deck is not doing anything too fancy. All of the normal card choices that I have been running in the recent past with respect to the non-land cards, you will see in this list. Specifically, we start off with our Mana Dorks, 3 Birds of Paradise, 4 Ignoble Hierarchs, 4 Wall of Roots, and 1 Prosperous Innkeeper. That's the normal suite that I've been running for probably the last 6 weeks and have really liked. The biggest change from previous lists being a 3rd Birds of Paradise and a 4th Wall of Roots. Moving on to other notables, we have all of the kind of the locked in spots of the deck. And then the flex spots would be 1 Hapatra, 3 Eldritch Evolutions, and opting for a 2nd Endurance over the 4th Eldritch Evolution. The biggest thing with regards to this main deck that's different from my previous builds would be the mana base, and you'll see front row center in the middle of that top row a Gemstone Caverns. This is a card that I tested a week and a half ago, and we 5-0'd the league with it. We had 2 in the 75 in that league. Today I'm going to be running 1 in the main deck, and that is it, just because I want to conserve sideboard spots for other cards. Besides that, mana base, pretty typical, 6 fetch lands. We shaved a Twilight Mirror to make room for the Caverns, 2 Blooming Marsh, 3 basic lands. And just to, I kind of glazed over it a little bit. The reason we're running a Gemstone Caverns is we're basically trying to see how free is it to run this card in a combo deck, in a modern combo deck. Can we run this? Can we accelerate out our game plan faster with minimal drawback? And I kind of want to find out. I want to see if we can do that, if our first league was a fluke or if it was not. Our sideboard, pretty much the same sideboard I've been running as of recently. Zerk has been running, I think, almost the identical, if not the identical sideboard, so you've seen it in his lists as well. I'm in agreement with what he's doing. I think that this sideboard is very solid. You'll notice 1 Fatal Push, 1 Go for the Throat. So there are 2 removal spells in this sideboard. We have 3 Thoughtseizes, which are probably one of your best cards against 4 color decks, specifically like the Elementals builds. A Necromentia, a hedge against Tron, combo decks, Creativity, bunch of different decks that this comes in against, Cascade decks. It's not great, but it's fine, and it's actually a little bit better with Gemstone Caverns as well, so that's why we're running it. 3 Force of Vigor, our Haymaker against Artifact decks, 2 Endurance, our Haymaker against Graveyard decks, Scavenging Ooze, good value card, Veil of Summer, Scam, and Blue-Red Murktide. Then we have our Crime Punishment and our Haywire Might to round out the 75. We're going to run this list through a league, and we are going to see how we do with Yawgmoth version 9.9. Come join me. Let's get after it. All right, friends, we are jumping into our modern league. This is match 1. Let me make sure all my my margins are aligned here. There we go. All right. In true Control for Days fashion, we are starting off our modern league with a mulligan, playing against Andrew Bot 5. They're going to mulligan to 6 cards. We'll join them there. They are on the play on this one. Oof. Yikes. Our 6-card hand is also quite suspect. We're going to see what they do. They keep their 6. I mean, we pull land, we're happy. We don't pull land, we're not. In this 7, I think you're shipping a chord. Yeah. Like, do we get lucky? We have 2 draw steps to find a land. Essentially have 19 lands left in the deck, 53 cards. Statistically, we're probably not going to hit one. I'm actually going to mulligan down to 5 here. And I like our 5 better. I'm glad I did. We'll ship a... I think we'll ship a Verdant and a Verdant and a... What was the second card? No. A Dried Arbor and a Misty. We'll go with that. And let's see how this one goes. Andrew bot 5. Getting after it. They lead on Bloodstained Mire, a card that is everywhere these days. Usually spells trouble. Usually means we're playing against Scam. Basic Forest. Actually a pretty good draw there. I'd rather save this Beseiju if I need to, if I can. I'm guessing this Hierarch is going to die, but if it doesn't, I will be happy. They fetch. End of turn. Alright, so this might be creativity. We'll see if a Ren 6 comes down on their turn. They get themselves a Xander's Lounge. They play out a Bloodstained Mire and do nothing. Okay. We are okay with that. We drew into a second Basic Forest, which is really interesting. I think we're just going to save our fetch land. Play out our Grist here. I can't imagine they're going to have a counterspell for this. They run Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce does not hit Grist, as I'm sure all of my viewers know. All you avid Yawg faithful watchers out there. They're going to fetch with this Mire. We'll see what they do from here. Alright, they get another Triome. And to me this says that there's probably Leyline Binding in the list. We do have our Beseiju, so we will be able to hit that if we need to. So, moving back to Andrew bot 5's turn. So at this point, we're thinking creativity. Okay, so it is actually Domain. We can hit that with our Beseiju if we choose to. They're gonna Fury. Usually Domain doesn't run Fury, so that's a little unconventional, but you know, you win some, you lose some. And they're not killing our Grist. This is very interesting. Very aggressive on their part. So Grist will survive. Little do they know we have Beseiju in our hands. Alright, we're just drawing all of our basics. So from here, I think we just plus our Grist, play out a land, and then we'll pass the turn from there. I'm not going to give them an extra land right here and now. I'll wait for them to do something, and then I'll pop down their Scion. Does this thing have flying? Yes, it does. Alright, nice little pre-combat Scion. I think that might be a little bit of a mistake on their part. They're assuming that they're going to kill my Grist here. Attacking. Move to blocks. We have no blocks. I could Cord in this instance as well, but I'm not going to do that. They get a Blood Crypt untapped. We draw into another Chord of Calling. So what I can do here is I can Grist plus Cord, get a Yawgmoth, and I think we're going to do that. And now what I can do is if they choose to kill one of these insects, I can actually, if they chose to kill one of the insects, I could just Cord for another Grist. So we'll pass the turn from here. We'll see what they want to do. If they Scion into this Grist, I'll probably sack 2 insects to chop this thing down and keep the Grist alive. So because we have a Yawg in play, it feels like we're pretty far ahead. They're going to Witch's Cottage. They're going hard with the swamps here. So they're going to put their Scion back on top. Sure. You are welcome to do that. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Really weird that they're playing Fury here. That's really strange. Okay. So they'll Calibrated Blast us for 12, I guess. We'll go down to 7. But we're pretty close to just winning next turn. We'll see if they want to actually attack us or attack the Grist. We do have to get rid of this Blast. Okay, and they're attacking us. So I guess the question is, what are our options from here? I think we're probably going to draw at least 1 card here. Geist. Geist is good. I just want to put myself in a situation where I know I can Cord. Okay, I think we're going to go down to 3 here. 1 mana Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is annoying. Okay, wasn't anticipating that. Calibrated Blast, Thoughtseize, Fury, like the way their deck is constructed is very strange. Like the fact, like it doesn't make sense they have a 1-drop in their calibrated blast deck. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing over there. Okay, so what can we do here? So we can lead on a Geist, sacrifice the Geist, target the Scion. Like we really want to draw into like a Blood Artist here. Wall of Roots. Okay. So I think we'll sacrifice, target the Scion again. We drew into a bird. Bird blocks the Scion, which we can use. 3, 5, 6. So we can put them on a 2-turn clock here. No, we can't because they have the calibrated blast. Flashback is 5 though, so if they have a land, they'll be able to use that. Or we could try to go with the safe play. Like if they have something to kill the bird. I can't imagine they do though, that doesn't make any sense. So I think we start with an attack. Bring everybody. Put them down to 7. 4 creatures. Play out a Wall of Roots. Play out a bird. Plus our Grist. And then pass the turn. Alright, do they have a land? They do. Okay, so anything they hit off Calibrated Blast at this point kills us, even if they hit a Thoughtseize. We're going to get more information here though. And they do. They hit a Thoughtseize. Amazing deck construction here. Props to our opponent. You're playing Calibrated Blast with 1-drops in your deck. Not sure what you're doing over there. Okay. We're going to bring in some Endurances. I don't even know if Necromentia is worth it, just based on the way the deck is constructed. I do think we're going to bring in Thoughtseizes, and we're going to bring in Veil of Summer just because they did Thoughtseize us. Maybe bring in Ooze to gain some life. Yeah, their deck is strange. I'm not sure what they're doing or why they're doing it. Grist feels medium. I mean, Grist hits the Scion, but doesn't feel great otherwise. We're going to shave a Chord, and I think we're going to shave some Wall of Roots as well. So I want to explain a little bit in a little bit more detail here. So one of my patrons, Michael Nystrom, he's a new patron this week and said some very kind things about my content. And Michael, I greatly appreciate your support. All of my patrons, I greatly appreciate your support. My Patreon is in the description below if you want to go check that out. But Michael basically asked me, I'm reading I have his message here, but he wants me to go into a little bit more detail when I'm sideboarding. For instance, if you're choosing to board out 1 mana dork instead of another, specifically why. Sometimes it's obvious, but other times it's not clear why you would take out a wall versus a hierarch in a given matchup. So generally my rule of thumb is when I'm playing against decks where my birds or my hierarchs can get bolted, those are going to be the matchups where I'm pulling those 1 mana dorks right off the bat. In a matchup where that is not the case, where I'm not as concerned about my 1 mana dorks dying, I'm going to shave on some number of Wall of Roots. You have a little bit of leeway with regards to boarding out your mana creatures, so that would be why I would opt to do one versus the other. Matchups where you would keep the birds over the hierarchs would be ones where you need to block with the birds. So the biggest one where that's relevant is going to be Murktide. So that's kind of the mindset behind doing the different strategies with regards to sideboarding out mana creatures, and that's why I'm boarding out Wall of Roots as opposed to birds and hierarchs. So I think we're gonna go 1 more wall minus 1 Chord. I actually think I'm gonna bring in the Necromentia, and we'll shave a Young Wolf here, and we'll go with this. Running out of time here. I don't love the Necromentia just based on what we saw in that first game, but I think it's probably worthwhile. Unfortunately, we can't keep this, so we'll mulligan this. And our 6 is it's a slow 6, but I think it's a keep, as long as our hierarch survives. So we'll keep, and I think we're going to get rid of the caverns here. We'll lead on our hierarch and pass the turn. And the reason I'm keeping double Yawgs over the caverns is just because we did see Thoughtseize. So if they do have that, I want to have a little insurance here. They lead on a Xander's Lounge and pass the turn. Draw step. Okay, so maybe I should have kept the that other card, the Caverns. All right, we mill over a land. We do need to hit a land drop on our next turn. Reason I opted for Swamp is just in case our Hierarch dies, it still ensures that we have double black up. They play out another tapped land and a Pithing Needle. We'll see if they name Grist or opt for Yawgmoth. Either way, it's pretty good for them. They opt for Grist. I don't know if I actually brought in any ways to destroy artifacts here. So that will slow down kind of our production a little bit, but I drew into a Geist. Not hitting a land in 3 draw steps, a little annoying. So we're stuck here. Once again, another 1-drop in a Calibrated Blast deck. Not sure what our opponents are doing. We do have to be wary of Fury. We do know that they are playing that card. But, I mean, they're essentially hitting 1 card if they do Fury us. Really would have liked to have drawn that Boseiju there. I think best case scenario this turn is they just Thoughtseize us. I think we'd be okay with that. A Voidwalker. What in the world are they doing? Sure. Take a Yawgmoth. And if they have Fury here, we're probably just dead. No. Okay. Land, please. Not a land. Alright. We're gonna attack for 3. We do have a faster clock than they do. So we're just gonna try to get them dead. Andrew Bot 5 said nice to my 3 Yawgmoth hand. Nice. So if they blast me here, I can shuffle it back into their library with this Endurance. Fury. Sure. Have to imagine they just drew that. I hope I didn't hit the F6. No. Okay. We're going to play out our Endurance, and then we will yield from there. And I think we'll just shuffle our graveyard just because there's a Boseiju in there. Opponent is paying costs. A Scion? Sure. So I'm not anticipating making it to game 3, but if we do, I will likely be changing some things. Thoughtseize. Is that even worth it? I don't think so. I don't think the life loss is worth it. It puts us on a 2-turn clock, so I don't think we can do that. Probably just dead from this point. I'm still just really confused by what our opponent is doing. They just have like a bunch of cards that they like and just throw them all into one deck with 0 synergies. We go down to 9 life. Opponent plays a second Scion, and I think this is probably game from this point. Yeah, I'm gonna scoop it up. I don't think we're winning this one. 0-1. Right, we are up. Match 2, Modern League. We are playing against Flossed. Our opponent has revealed a Gigantha. We are on the draw, and our opening at 7 is a keep. It's fine. We'll keep it. We'll go with it. Let's see what Flossed is up to. Leading on a Bobble. So we're thinking Death Shadow or Breach right off the bat. Opponent, okay. So I guess this could be 8 Blast or Prowess. Based on the Memnite, this is 8 Blast most likely. Alright, so they got double Memnite. They're drawing off their Bobble. We are going to... Endurance is actually really good against this deck. Being able to cast it might be the issue. We'll see if we get the opportunity to do so. Okay, pass the turn. They did not do anything, so if we can get our bird to survive, that will be excellent. Opponent leads for an attack for 2 with their double Memnite. I do like their choice of Mountain over there. Props to Flossed for flossing with the Mountain. Let's see what they do from here. 4 cards in hand. Come on, Flossed. You were flossing, now you're not. You're mismatching lands? You can't do that. Alright, Darren Epicure hits me for 1. They get a blood token. They have 3 Phyrexian Goblin creature tokens. We are playing interesting variations of interesting lists tonight. Blooming Marsh, not bad. So we can ensure our 3rd land. Here I'm going to play out my Grist because I think it's a little bit of a distraction from what they might be trying to do. As long as we don't die, which I think is possible. If they have something like a Bushwhacker or the other one with Surge, the other goblin thing. But I think they're going to be incentivized attacking to this Grist, which is what I want them to do. Okay, there's a Bushwhacker. So that is in fact what they are doing. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. 6, 12, 14. So we're taking a big hit here. And I'm hoping they attack with a few into the Grist. That would be really good for us. And they're just swinging everybody at us. Okay, so I think that's the right call. We're definitely blocking one of these Memnites. And we're going to take a big hit. And now if they have something like a Shrapnel Blast, they'll just be able to blast us with the Memnite. Wall Root's actually a pretty good draw. So we can cast Wall of Roots. So we can actually survive here. So I can go Wall plus, and then I can get, so I can cast out my Endurance, and then Endurance again and get a Blood Artist and survive. I'm gonna cast this now. I'm gonna shuffle their cards back. We'll see if this is good enough. As it stands, we have 3 blockers. They have a bunch of attackers. Goblin Grenade. Okay. I don't think we can beat that. I think we just lose. Okay, so this is like 8 whack or 12 whack or however many whacks. All right, so against this deck, I think we just kind of want to like on curve deal with what they're doing. Running a Scavenging Ooze seems fine. I don't think we want to go for the throat. I don't think we want a fatal push either. I feel like we're super favored, but we just need to get out of the gates a little quicker. I don't think Grist is great. Endurance is probably medium as well. Cord is a little slow. It's probably better on the draw or on the play than it is on the draw, but let's see if that's good enough. Double Endurance. Maybe Grist is just better than Endurance in this matchup. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll see how this works. All right, let's see if we can keep a 7. I guess we kept our 7 last game, but it'd be nice if we could do it again. All right, I like this. We'll keep it. Opponent reveals their Giganta. We'll keep. And we are going to lead. I think we're just going to get a basic here, just to prevent any loss of life. We'll get our Birds of Paradise. And honestly, it probably doesn't matter which creature I play out turn 1. Like, we don't have a 3-drop, so getting 3 mana on turn 2 isn't as important, unless we just want to preserve counters on our Wall of Roots here. So we're going to lead on a Memnite, a Bauble, playing against some unconventional decks this evening. And they have all of their goblins. All right, that's pretty good. So we'll be able to go Wall of Roots, Young Wolf, another Young Wolf, and we will have back 3 blockers for their potential 5 attackers here, which I think is pretty good. On the draw, our next game, if we do get to that point, having a Gemstone Caverns could actually be pretty important in our opening hand. So hopefully we can get a little lucky and have the one of in our hand. Pithing Needle. What's with people playing Pithing Needles? Let me guess. Yawgmoth. Sure. Opponent is. Feel free to attack. Okay, I'll block. I will block all 3 of those. Not sure why that was a profitable attack, and we draw our 3rd Yawgmoth here. And I think I'm just going to get offensive. If they want to attack into my Yawgmoth, I'll happily block. 3rd land, sure. Fetch. More mismatching lands. 3 more goblins, and now they're going to surge. A Bushwhacker, sure. But they're pretty much out of gas at this point, so I'll take a hit for 6. We'll get on a 13. And then from here, I think we're pretty far ahead. Yeah, and that puts us really, really far ahead. We'll eat that Bushwhacker. We'll eat that Memnite. And we will move to attacks. I'm going to lead the Yawgmoth back and just hit for 4. Just in case they have something like a Goblin Grenade, they can kind of hit us from long range, so I just need to make sure we stay above a certain life total. Epicure put us down to 14. Another Bushwhacker. And they put Giganta into hand, sure. Okay, Peatland represents a redraw. And I think we're going to take that. Another Wall of Roots, actually pretty strong here. So I'm actually going to tick down this Wall of Roots. And then I'm going to start attacking. I think we're going to attack for 6 here. This puts them on a 2-turn clock, so they are kind of priced into blocking these. And if they do want to double block, we'll start eating and growing our ooze even bigger. This puts them in a pretty tough spot. We know it's in their hand. They have a Giganta in hand. They can cycle it with the blood token, but they pretty much need perfect draws to be able to kill us from here. All right, they drew a land. They play a land. They fetch a land, and they're playing out their Giganta. Sure. And they do not have any creatures in the graveyard. Not going to crack this Wall of Roots as of yet. Okay, and that's just lethal. I'd like to move to attacks. Choose your blocks. Blood Artist. Another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Alright, nice scoop. Yeah, you're not winning that one. Alright, game 3. We saw a Pithing Needle. It's kind of annoying, but I think is it worth bringing something else in? We did see a bunch of Memnites too. Maybe we do bring in like Force of Vigors. Hit Memnites, hit Pithing Needle, maybe like a 1. Shave another chord on the draw. Yeah, let's go with it. Game 3. Alright. We are in business. Opponent starts with 7. We will start with 7. And from here, I think we will get rid of the Tomb. Yeah, I think we'll get rid of the Tomb here. That is pretty good. Implement of Combustion. Sacrifice Implement of Combustion. It deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. When it is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Sure. Not sure how that fits into their game plan, but that is fine. And a Memnite. Wooded Foothills. Okay, we're going to fetch basic here. And I think I'm going to get... So I can go Innkeeper into Young Wolf and go up to 20. I think that's the play. Then next turn we have Geist and Corda. Okay, they got 3/1/1s. Sure. And now if they have a Surge Dude from here... Okay, Epicure. So they're going wide. No attacks. Alright, that is... Whew, we are drawing hot. We're going to get... I think we can just get another Forest here. We're going to gain 2. Like, this board state pretty good against what they're doing. We can Chord if we want to. Next turn we'll have a Yawg. Next turn we'll just have Lethal. As long as we have a board left. Another one of these things. They crack it as opposed to using it for a Kuldotha Rebirth. I can't pronounce card names for whatever reason. What you got, Flossed? Nothing? Whole lot of nothing. Alright, GG. Yavimaya. I would like to get a Yawgmoth, Thran Physician, and I would like to win from here. I'm actually going to start with the Epicure here. So this is an infinite loop for those that might not be familiar. Young Wolf plus Strangleroot Geist with a Yawgmoth on the battlefield and a Prosperous Innkeeper. You get to draw infinite cards and you don't lose any life in the process. And this is turn 3, facilitated by our Gemstone Caverns here. Okay, and they scoop. We're 1-1. Match 3 of our Modern League. Let's see what we're up against. We are playing against Larinhinia-BR. We are going to be on the draw for the 3rd match in a row. And I think our opening 7 is acceptable. Little lacking on the power level side of things, but it ramps out quickly. We're on the draw, we get an extra draw step, so I think this is a keep. Do need a piece of business though. Opponent leads on a Bloodstained Mire, they fetch. Always feels like scam when you see that right off the bat. Okay, Stomping Grounds, not scam. And Footfalls, okay. Tough league so far, right? So we're playing against Footfalls. We'll lead on our bird and pass the turn. We are playing against, I believe, 5-color Rhinos based on the fact we see a Bloodstained Mire over there. What in the world? What is going on? What is going on? Can somebody explain to me these decks we're playing tonight? Oh my gosh. So if it's not evident, the problem with what just happened is our opponent is running Cascade spells, and they're running a 1-drop in their deck. So if they cast a Cascade spell, they can Cascade into this 1-drop. Which, are they just crashing Footfalls for value? I don't know what is going on tonight. This is bizarre. Like, the first deck we played, Calibrated Blast, and they had Thoughtseize and Pithing Needle in their deck. And now we're playing a deck with Crashing Footfalls, and they have Flame Slash. This is just like the practical joke league. Like, how can we make Brandon lose his mind? I don't understand what's happening right now. Can somebody please explain to me my opponent's deck building decisions? Please, somebody, help. I would really love to see a Cascade into a 1-drop right now, as opposed to a Footfalls, and just laugh excessively. Okay, we're just doing the value thing. Let's go. More Footfalls. Tribal Flames. Is this the same opponent we played in the first round? Or are we... I don't understand. Is Footfalls just a good value card? Is that what this is? Alright, that was a Decent draw. Hopefully we don't get Tribal Flames again. We'll get our Yawgmoth into play. Yeah, Footfalls on turn like 5. Not as good as turn 3. Definitely not as good. So they'll have a Footfalls next turn. 4 mana. They're fetching. 4 mana. Watch them cast like Calibrated Blast here. Second Tribal Flames. Okay. Yeah, I think I just let this happen. Just losing to these bizarre decks. See the truth. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of those cards in your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. If a spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards into your hand instead. Okay, so they're trying to combo this thing with a Crashing Footfalls. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, guys. All right, so we're going to play at our Catacombs. We are going to pass the turn. And the game plan here is Court of Calling. Get ourselves a 2-drop, likely a Geist. And then from there, we're going to Evo the Geist into a Yawgmoth and try to kill them. Collected Conjuring. Exile the top 6 cards of your library and you may cast up to 2 sorcery spells with mana value 3 or less from among them without paying their mana costs. Put the exiled cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library. So this is like Collected Company for sorceries. Then you get a Vindicate and another Collected Vindicate. And what else? And a Vindicate. Okay. What are these decks? What is going on right now? So Court of Calling. I mean, I'll still be able to get a Yawg next turn, so I think I'd probably take that. Get our Dryad Arbor here. I wish we had another 2-drop because I would be able to get a Hapatra from here and then just mow down their board, but I don't have that luxury, unfortunately. We'll get a Geist. Sure. Sure. You got me. They have 1 card in hand. Alright, you're into a Twilight Mirror. That's respectable. We're going to Evo this Geist here and now. We'll get ourselves another Yawgmoth. And from here, I'm going to minus this Geist now. Minus one of these guys. Bird isn't bad. Okay. So we're kind of in business. We can take a hit here, and then next turn we can kind of go crazy. I'm not sure what they have in their hand at this point. They have 2 cards. Flame Slash. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Alright, we're going to draw some more cards. Another Geist. Dump this other Rhino down. Sure, we got a Grist. Our opponent plays out of Gemstone Caverns. They're thinking about attacking. They are attacking. We'll block 1. Sure. Really like a land here. Not a land. Alright, so here we're just going to pass the turn. I'm going to flash an Endurance. These 2 4/4s are going to be problematic, though. See what they draw into. They're an atrocious deck here. I'm just baffled. Sure. Yawgmoth player leaves 3 mana up. I wonder what is hiding behind the door. I wonder. I would like to tap 3 mana. Cast a creature that is bigger than yours. Okay. What now? 1, 2. Is this a Fury? Invoke Calamity. You may cast up to 2 instant and/or sorcery spells with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and/or hand without paying their mana costs. Okay. Cool. And we will scoop. We will scoop. I mean, I respect the creativity, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, we're gonna get some stuff to deal with their nonsense. I think I'm gonna bring in a Scavenging Ooze to eat stuff too. Did they have other creatures? I don't think they actually had other creatures. Maybe another Endurance to shut off that Invoke Calamity line, but maybe that's just too little too late. Probably get rid of a Young Wolf. Probably some number of birds. Yeah, maybe an Endurance. I don't think we want all of those. Maybe a Cord and an Evo. Like, they were pretty aggressive with the amount of removal that they had. They had Tribal Flames. They had Flame Slash. They probably will have more post-board. I imagine they probably bring in something like Fury. So I think we're going to have limited resources to work with. So I'm going to cut the Evo for that reason. I really have no idea what they're doing, so I don't know what to bring in, but this is what we're going to do. All right, I like this 7. We'll keep this. Our opponent mulligans to 6. Okay, they keep their 6. They did not play out of Gemstone Caverns. I think I'm going to lead on my... I think I'm going to lead on my Hierarch here with the hope that it survives, and then next turn I can Thoughtseize and Geist. Or just Grist, depending on what happens with my mana here. If this Geist, or this Hierarch gets bolted down, seeing another land would be really helpful, or a 1-drop. Okay, land or 1-drop. Not a land or a 1-drop. Okay, I think we're just going to start attacking. Basic Forest, Geist, hit for 2. And we do want a land next turn. So they might have Veil of Summer in their deck. They do have green mana available, so we do have to keep that in mind. Really, really would like a land. Blood Crypt, they Thoughtseize us, sure. They take our Geist, okay. Pulling a land here. Another Geist, sure. We'll start attacking. They're at 7 life, they're on the clock. Based on the way their deck is constructed, I'm not sure they can cast Rhinos before turn 4. We drew into a Court of Calling. I think we're priced into casting this Thoughtseize. I'm anticipating a Veil of Summer though. We'll attack. Okay, no Veil. No Veil. We're gonna take the Conjuring. I think that's the only thing we can really take here. So Vindicate is a sorcery, so they can't really do much with our creatures here. And they scoop. Okay, going to game 3. So we did see Thoughtseize. We know they have a bunch of blue cards too, so I think Veil of Summer is actually reasonable. Besides that, maybe I bring in Evo and shave a cord on the draw. Bird, shave a wall. Like, they can kill our walls just as easily as they can kill our bird, so maybe that's reasonable as well. Shave a Grist. I don't know if Necro is going to be great on the draw, but we're going to try it. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what they're doing here. This nonsense. It's complete nonsense. They mulligan to 6. That's good for us. We'll keep this. Crime Punishment wipes their board. Thoughtseize strips a card out of their hand. Blood Artist does nothing. Young Wolf is a 1-drop. They play a land and pass the turn. 5 cards in hand. We're gonna start getting our beats in. So I'll lead land into Young Wolf. Next turn I think we're going to Geist. And then the turn after that, we'll probably Thoughtseize. Once again, I don't think they can kill us before... I don't think they can get Rhinos down before turn 3. See the truth. So they look at 3, they put 1 into their hand. If we draw into a Dork here, that will be nice too. Not a Dork, okay. Geist, swing. And we can deal with Rhinos. We do have this Crime Punishment, so if they do that, we will have an answer. They're going to fetch down to 4, or shock down to 14. 1, 2. What you gonna do? This is the Gemstone Caverns mirror match. Okay, they get rid of our black mana. Sure, forgot about that. Can stall us a little bit, but we drew another one, so we're good there. We'll swing for 3. Put them down to 11. And we're going to Thoughtseize from here. Okay. Brotherhood's End doesn't really do too much. I guess they could Flame Slash into Brotherhood's End. Or like Brutality, Flame Slash, and then the next turn Brotherhood's End. And try to wipe our board. Brotherhood's End's probably the best card in their hand. Brutality's annoying if they hit a Rhino. But not the end of the world. So I think we take the Brotherhood's End. Play out their Foothills. Sure. Now they're in a situation, I guess they could like kill the Geist like 2 for 1 themselves. Oh my gosh. Sunset Revelry. If an opponent has more life than you, gain 4 life. An opponent controls more creatures than you, create 2 1/1 white human tokens. If an opponent has more cards than you in hand, draw a card. Gotcha. That's Reinforcements, whatever that card's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. Alright, Flame Slash. I think we just play out this Geist. Pass the turn. If we draw a land next turn, we have a Yawg next turn. I guess they could Brutality us, so we might not get the opportunity to do that, but... Okay, another land at 3 cards. Alright, can we pull a land? Got a land. Alright, so this is a Yawg. So the question is from here, do we go for it? I think we do. We didn't see any counter magic out of their deck. I could just go for it at the end of their turn, because our Yawg will get Flame Slashed. I don't think there's too much risk. I think I'm actually going to wait just to like have the kill. Okay, they fetch. They're down to 13. Opponent's thinking. Steam Vents. Tapped. Got it. 4 mana. Okay. This is where we do our thing. We're going to shuffle their graveyard. We'll cast Court of Calling. We'll get ourselves a Yawgmoth. We know 2 of the cards in their hand, and we know that they are sorcery speed. Okay, drew another Endurance, not bad. And from here, I would like to cast a Blood Artist. I would like to attack with my creatures. And I would like to win this game. Had enough of these nonsense decks. Enough of them. 2-1. We are back. Match 4 of our Modern League against Greatness at Any Cost. We have not won a die roll yet. We are on the draw. And this opening 7 I think is really close. They didn't reveal a companion. I actually think normally I would ship this, but I think I'm actually going to keep this. It's really close though. It's so slow. It's dangerous to keep a hand like this. They lead on a Sentinel, so we're thinking they are on Hammertime. 1 drop would be great. We do not find a 1 drop. Blue Marsh, and we will pass the turn. Danger, danger. We're not at risk for dying this turn, but we are at risk for being way behind. There's the aid. We're going to take a hit for, yeah, so that's a hit for 11. Turn 2. So basically our line from here is going to be Geist, Chump Block. They'll tick up their Saga, and then we're going to have to kill this with the Grist on the following turn. So we're in pretty deep trouble here. The format is just so aggressive. Like, keeping hands like this are just really risky on the draw. Even though it like looked good, I don't know if, I think it was greedy on my part to keep this hand. I think you kind of need 1 drops on the draw. And I think them having the Inkmoth, I think this just means we lose from here. Unless they mess up. The Saga gets them the Shadow Spear, so I don't think we can win with that in play. Like, because, so if they get Shadow Spear, like they just equip it to the Sentinel and swing in for lethal. If they get another Hammer, like let's say if we Grist, we minus, we kill this thing, they make a Construct, and they just get another Hammer and they kill us. So we can't do that. If we, like, we're priced into Chump Up blocking this, but we're going to take a ton of damage in the process. I guess I could get a Yawg 7, 8 and go down to 1, but then they have the Saga that they'll swing in with. Like, they can have double Hammer up. I think our best way to have a chance here is to hope that they mess up. So we'll see if they do. See if they give us a chance. So we have a chord line to get ourselves a Blood Artist and gain a life, and then go from there, hopefully. See if we can pull this one out. Animate the Inkmoth. Sure. Are they not adding a mana with the Saga? A little strange. They might have messed up. Because if they're getting a Hammer here, and they equip it on the Inkmoth, they are, oof. Depending on what they have in their hand, we actually have a shot here. I guess they can activate the Inkmoth if they have another land. Okay, we'll see if they have another land drop. I'm guessing they do based on the line they took, but they should have, yeah, okay. See what their attacks look like. We need them to mess up here. Mess up, just swing with the Inkmoth. They messed up. They messed up. And now we have a shot to win. Yeah, you can draw a card. Wow. What a punt. No offense, my opponent, but you gave me a chance. A big chance. All right, 1, 2, 3, Evo, get Yawg. Or you can go 1, 2, 3, Grist, kill the Sentinel, and just try to stabilize from there, which is the better line. If they have another Hammer, they just equip the Inkmoth, and then they kill us from there. Like, I think Yawg is probably the line. Yawg's always the line. And we just need to dodge a Shadow Spear. Yeah, they'll get to draw another card. I did forget about that. We do have outs to win from here, though. If we find another chord, we can just win. All right, what you got? Another land, another Inkmoth. 5 cards in hand. No Shadow Spear. All right, so we got a combo here. That's our line. Unless they mess up again and get another. Yeah, they got the Shadow Spear. Shadow Spirit, they should be doing that instant speed. There's no reason to do that right now. Put it on the Sentinel, sure. Ornithopter, sure. Okay, if I can just stay alive, I just win, right? How do I stay alive? The fact that this Sentinel has trample is annoying. Do we just start by putting this Endurance into play? Endurance minus on the Sentinel. See what we draw and then go from there. Or Endurance minus the Geist. And try to draw 5 cards and go from there. Tricky line here. Okay, I think I'm going to lead Endurance here. We're going to get rid of this Grist to start with. Target myself. And the question is, do I minus the Esper pre? Or do I minus one of these Geists? I think I minus one of the Geists. Young Wolf. So I think Young Wolf just gets us the win, right? As long as we're not at 1 life. I didn't think this through all the way. Noble. Shuffle Endurance. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move to blocks here. Definitely blocking there. Blocking there. Might have been premature with that Geist activation. I think that was. That might have been a mistake. Do I just triple block here? Okay, I think we do it like this. So we'll 6, 7. We'll take 4 there. Okay. See how they order these blockers. I'll just make sure that this isn't lethal here. 4, 6. I might have just killed myself. I think I just killed myself. 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna go down to 1 here. I think I'm down to 1. I think I messed up. Yeah, I think I messed up there. I didn't, the details of that were off. Still not dead, but I just made it a lot harder for myself. Wall of Roots. 1, 2. So the line I have available is I can Evo Geist. I guess I have no. Evo Geist, get a Prosperous Innkeeper. I have to get lucky here. So we're gonna start with an attack for 3. Yeah, you get to draw another card. Very tricky game. My opponent gave me chances that I should not have had. Where's the Innkeeper? There's our good friend. So if we draw into a Young Wolf, we will still have a shot here. If we draw into a Young Wolf, we just win. Wolf, Ignoble. I think we still have outs here. No, that does me in. Yeah, unless I draw into an Endurance, but then it takes me off of lines. Takes me off of lines that I have. Opponent is making really weird plays. Okay. Yeah, we lose. Sure. I'm not sure our opponent completely understands how to play this matchup. Nothing against them, but just kind of an observation. We're going to bring in these 5 cards. We are going to shave Endurance, Grists, Wall of Roots. I think we're going to go with those 5. And we'll submit. We hung in there, but we couldn't get it done. Alright, game 2. Great at any costs against the Yawgfather. Opening 7, I like this. We'll keep this. Okay, so normally I wouldn't like to fetch shock, but I think in this situation we do that. Being on the play, and like with the texture of our hand, I think this is fine. Like having the Beseiju gives us a little bit of insurance, so that's why I'm not casting that out right now. They do nothing. That is strange. Okay, we're gonna go Innkeeper. Thought they were gonna Mana Tithe me for a second. They paused. Play out our Dryad Arbor, and then we'll pass the turn. So next turn we have a Yawg if we want it. We can also like Court for a Patron, then Yawg on the next turn. Okay, so they're representing Spell Pierce based on the way they just played that. Really weird that, like if they had a 1-drop, weird that they didn't play it out. Like that's what they're playing towards. I can't imagine in their deck they didn't have a 1-drop. Yeah, so they're representing Spell Pierce pretty hard here. But like if they don't have any creatures, we don't have to do anything. Force of Vigor, sure. And I think we just pass the turn. Once again, I don't think we need to do anything. Like, I don't think this is how you want to play this matchup, especially on the draw. Like, if you're on the play and you have a threat down, that's reasonable, but on the draw, doesn't seem very good. Sure, we can sit here. We can do this. I'll fetch. Get a tomb tapped. Geist is a pretty good draw. So from here, I'm going to cast my Geist. And I'm going to hold off on this Besage. I'm just going to continue to keep it in my back pocket just because I can. And from here we'll swing for 3, I think. We'll start putting some pressure on them. They don't have any instant speed threats. They can't kill us on our turn. Oh, I guess they do have an instant speed threat with the Sigarda's Aid. Sure, that's fine. I'm going to Besage you that now. Yes, you can have an extra land. And the reason I did that is I kind of want all these cards in my hand, so... Where's a Saga? Sure, they have 5 cards in hand. Paladin, sure. They're starting to realize how far behind they are. Shadow Spear, sure, you can draw a card. None of this stuff really matters. Ornithopter, sure. Okay, so they're still representing the Spell Pierce. So we will be able to play around that on our turn. We'll get ourselves a Yawgmoth, and then I think that'll probably be a game. Or we can just hardcast a Yawgmoth. Sure, they're going to hammer now. Okay, now unless they have something like a Solitude, we just have the win here. Get ourselves a Young Wolf, and we can just start mowing down. So we can draw our whole deck here. There's a Besage, so we'll have that up on their turn, or on our turn, I guess. Second Force of Vigor, nice. Crime Punishment, Birds, another Chord. There's the Blood Artist. I'm just looking for an untapped land here. I think I only have, I don't know if I have any Endurances left in the list. I have 1 left. So I guess technically I could kill. Still looking for just a basic land that I can put into play. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna knock down this Shadow Spear right now, just so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, they don't have another basic. And then from here, I think we're okay moving to discard. We'll get rid of a Young Wolf, some more lands. Don't really need our Evo. Okay, during our upkeep, I think we're gonna dump 2 here. So I'm anticipating they have a Blacksmith skill. I'm anticipating they have a Spell Pierce. We knew about that. No, no, and they scoop. Okay, yeah, that's what happens when you can draw your whole deck. I think we're gonna keep this configuration, and we'll go to game 3. All right, game 3, first Hammertime. I feel like this match has been like all over the place. Opponent plays first, they keep a 7. Our 7's a little slow, but I think this is a keep. Like, we do want to draw into another land, very important. But we have interaction, which is good for us. Arid Mesa, they fetch. Hallowed Fountain, gonna leave up that Spell Pierce again. Drum, they have a 0 drop. They have a 0 drop. This is the turn 1 you want. Sigarda's Aid, yep, okay. So we could die next turn. Very well could, okay, maybe we won't. Yes, we're gonna play out our bird. And we are going to pass the turn. So I could pop this Force of Vigor upkeep. I'm gonna hold on to it, just see what they do. If they have a Spell Pierce, could be in trouble here. They fetch. So to me, this suggests they might have a Spell Pierce. Hammer. Okay, we're gonna exile 2. This is gonna be a Spell Pierce. Okay, no Spell Pierce. Nice, okay. A little confused by the line my opponent took. So here I can go Crime Punishment for 0, kill the Ornithopter, or I can just go Might and Dryad. I think this is a safer line. And next turn we can play out our Yawg if we draw into another land. Ornithopter number 2, sure. Makes this Crime Punishment a little bit sweeter. Pithing Needle, okay. We can hit that with our Might here. Like, Pithing Needle doesn't really do much, like, unless they have a Blacksmith skill in hand. Okay, they name Might with the Needle. March, okay. See if we can draw land here. So if they draw into like a Paladin, they can kind of go crazy. But I think we have to take that risk. They can't really go crazy, but they can do stuff. We just want to get our Yawg in play. Okay, they just drew a land. We're still fine. There's our land, that's what we wanted. We're gonna get a basic forest, Yawg, and then we're gonna swing for 2 with this Might. I think we're pretty firmly in control from here. Stonefort, sure. Not a big deal. It's not like it's a Cauldra, but that's, I mean, they're just so far behind curve at this point. Really not a big deal. So what I can do from here is I can put a counter on each of their creatures. I think that makes it a little bit easier to go about doing that as well. So we're going to cast Yawgmoth, Blood Artist, and the hope is we can draw into another black source or just another undying creature. And I'm going to proliferate down their entire board. All right, there it is. So I'm going to attack with the Yawg here before I do anything else. I'm pretty sure we just have lethal from here. Okay. All right, 8. We're going to add a black. Minus there. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to fetch basic swamp. Black, black. Discard a card. Discard the bird. Proliferate. And they're dead from here. All right, 3 and 1. All right, all the marbles. This is match 5 of our Modern League. We are playing against Doe_Shack. Shack. We are going to be on the play for the first time in this league, I believe. We're going to take it. Let's see what our 7 looks like. Interesting hand. On the draw, I think this is definitely a mulligan. Maybe not definitely, but likely a mulligan. On the play, I actually think this is a keep. We're going to give this one a try. A little risky, but if we get our creatures to stick for at least one turn, we'll be in okay shape. So that's what we're going to try to do. Try to get them to stick. Opponent keeps a 7-card hand. Let's see what they're doing. Alright, we're going to fetch Shock, turn 1, and we're going to play out a bird. Alright, bird, we need you to stick around. We need you here. Do your thing. Fly, bird, fly. Fly, pelican. Shack, turn 1. What you got? Scalding Tarn. Bird's going to die. Bird is going to die. Pretty confident in that one. Scalding Tarn right off the bat. I think Murktide also could potentially be Living End. I mean, there's a bunch of different decks. There's no Giganta over there, so it kind of takes a couple of decks out of the picture, but all right. Now we're thinking Scam, and we're getting bolted. Bird is bolted. All right. We had it the whole time. Walroots. Bird number 2. And next turn we have our Grist in play. We also, so we can go Grist and Ignoble, and then have Cord up. All right, Thoughtseize takes us off of that line. Imagine they take the Grist, but we'll still be able to get a Grist on the following turn. If they have something like a Fury, it will really ruin our plans here, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you're playing against Scam? Decisions. What you doing, Scammer? Okay. Maybe not Scam. They have a Zeotora's Proving Ground. So to me that says, makes me like think or lean more in the direction of creativity. Geist, not a bad draw. So here I can go Hierarch into Geist, and I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 up. So I'll have a Cord up for 3 if I use the Wall of Roots mana. They did show us a Lightning Bolt, so if I use the Wall of Roots for that, it does put it in bolt range and takes me away from Yawg next turn potentially. But if they have a Thoughtseize, this play is worse. But I think we're going to go with this line. We're going to swing for 3. So if they do have a Thoughtseize, we will Cord for our Dryad Arbor, which isn't great, but it's better than getting it discarded from our hand. If they don't, we have a Yawgmoth next turn, as long as they don't have counter magic, which this does not suggest to me, based on the fact they don't have any blue mana. Okay, and there's the Thoughtseize. So we are getting punished a little bit, but we're going to use this, and we're going to get ourselves our Dryad Arbor. Alright, so from here, drawing anything that gets us a Yawgmoth is best case scenario. They play a Foothills, and they pass the turn. They're at 10 life, they have 4 cards, and that was what I was referring to. Alright, so from here, we will sacrifice our Geist, get our Yawg, attack for 4, and then we're going to draw some cards. Alright, so I think I'm going to lead with this Dryad Arbor here. and that might just give us lethal. Feels like they're F6'd. We don't really know what they're playing as of yet. Like, we've seen Jundi short sort of cards, and they scoop. Okay, we're up a game against Jundi sort of cards. Game two. I'm gonna bring in, I don't really know what they're doing. Veil of Summer seems reasonable. If they're on creativity, Thoughtseize is kind of just like a general catch-all, so against Jund it's not great, but I think I'm gonna bring it in just because we don't really know what they're doing. Saw a Proving Grounds and a Stomping Grounds. I think I'm gonna bring in a Might as well. I think we'll bring in 3 Thoughtseize. I think we'll go with this configuration, hedging towards creativity, but not really 100% sure what they're doing. And then in terms of boarding out, I'm gonna board out an Evo and a Cord, a Young Wolf. If they play like a Ragman, I guess that will be pretty brutal for us. So a bunch of bolts. I'm gonna pull some Birds of Paradise, and I'm actually board out the Innkeeper as well. They didn't show us any threats. They're on green, red, so they might have Ren in 6, so I think this is reasonable, and we'll see how this goes. Kind of sideboarding a little bit in the blind here. Got our mascot represented above my head right now. Shout out to our mascot. The most prosperous of Innkeepers. They keep a 7-card hand. Our 7 is slow, but I think this is a keep. Like, all the cards in our hands have pretty strong utility, so we'll see. Play a land and they pass. 1-drop? Not a 1-drop. It's actually a fine 2-drop though. That ramps us pretty heftily. You go Wall of Roots next turn into Wall of Roots, Hapatra, something else the next turn. We could potentially even just go like Wall next turn, Wall, Hapatra. We'll be short, or will we be? Yeah, we'll be 1 mana short of being able to cast this Evo. Alright, they play out the Blood Crypt and pass. Still not 100% clear what they're doing. I don't love giving them this green mana here, but I think we're going to. Play out this wall, and then I'm going to play out the Hierarch. And then next turn, if this Hierarch's still alive, which I don't think it will be, but if it is, we'll be able to go crazy from there. Like cray cray. We don't have double black for this Yawgmoth either, which is a little unfortunate. They're paying costs. Bolt. No surprise there. Basic Mountain. Is this a Fable? Fable. Yep. Okay. So likely creativity here. Best draw from here, probably a Thoughtseize. Chord of Calling. What does Chord do for us? So we play out our Wall of Roots. Play out our Hapatra. Play out our Beseiju. Okay, so do you think I'm playing this Beseiju? 1-2 Wall of Roots, 1-2-3. So I can get a Yawg to play this turn. That is an option. But I can't Chord if I do that. So 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think I'm going to be a little aggressive here. I'm going to go Wall of Roots, Hapatra, thinking about Chording on their turn, and then going from there. If they creativity here, we're going to be in deep trouble, most likely. All right, they discard 2, they draw 2. Pretty good value. All right, don't creativity, bro. Create a treasure. Sure. I'm gonna Chord for 2 here. I'm gonna get a Geist. Block the Shaman. They're thinking about whether or not they want to let me do this. Okay, don't do me dirty. If you creativity for 1, I'm okay with that. If you creativity for 2, I'm not okay with that. Run 6. And they got themselves back a Bloodstained Mire. They passed the turn. All right. We are in business. So where do we start? Start by attacking Ren 6. I think we're going to start with this Hierarch. I'm going to Evo down one of these walls, get myself a Yawg, and then I'll attack from there. They're thinking, oh, this was actually a mistake. This was a big mistake. So they have a Spell Pierce, I'm in trouble. That was a huge mistake. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a big mess up. Not good. I'm going to attack Ren 6, and I'm going to attack them. We'll see what happens here. Okay. Yeah, I punted really hard there. That's a really big mistake. Like, potentially game-costing mistake that I just made. Not good. I think they're trying to decide if they want to let me get an extra token here. I'm anticipating this getting spell pierced. I think I messed up really, really bad. Such a punt. Don't do what I did. All right, Doshak, what's up? Is this resolving? Oof. Oof, we are lucky. All right, we will pass the turn. From here, I think it's going to be pretty hard for us to lose now that Yawg is in play. They're thinking. Yeah, I'm still thinking back to that play I made with the Ignoble Hierarch. Like, there was no reason for me to do that. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. Alright, Fable's going to flip here. No big deal, we can get rid of that real easy. They're thinking. Terrain position, in combination with a Patron, is a very nice combo. They've got 6 mana up, and it seems like they're just passing the turn. They're really in a tough spot. So I can sacrifice and target this Geist with this snake token. I think I'm going to. And the reason I'm going to is, if need be, I'll sacrifice another creature. Like if you want to fire off like a bolt or 2 bolts or something like that, like I'll respond to those things. Like all of these creatures are expendable. So I'm going to fire something off. Fatal Push on Yawgmoth. Okay. Yeah, we'll respond. Probably should have sacked a wall there. I'm just not thinking through my lines here. It's like, how many removal spells do you have? How many do you want to use? 1, 2, 3. Prismari Command. 2 damage. Yeah, that's not happening. Add a mana with our wall. We'll target here. Alright, we're in business. And this is just lethal from here, actually. Yeah, we're gonna cord for 2. Get our Blood Artist. And the scoop. Despite my multiple punts, we got there with the 4-1. We did it. Successful league. Alright, my friends. So that does it for another Modern League with Black-Green Yawgmoth. Another successful league. I don't know how many leagues in a row where we've been playing this deck where we have gone 4-1 or better in a row. It's at least like 6 or 7 leagues. Win percentage with this deck is just through the roof. It's off the charts. It's ridiculous. This list felt great. I expected it to feel great. The Gemstone Caverns actually came up once where it was a plus in a matchup where we needed it to be there. And it wasn't a minus over the course of those 5 matches. We had it in a hand that we mulliganed and we shipped it to the bottom where we should have kept it, but otherwise it was only good. It wasn't bad. So I definitely will be considering this card further in the future, and we'll be testing it more so in the future as well. Besides that, 60 card main deck, there's nothing to change here. This is just perfection in a nice little box that does not need to be messed with. This is good to go. You're playing an event this weekend. Play this 60, maybe minus the Gemstone Caverns. You can throw an extra Twilight Mirror in that spot. The sideboard, same. I mean, this is nothing fancy. Like, you're looking for something that's like, it's sparkly and it's shiny and it it really catches your attention. This is not it, but it gets the job done. It's well-rounded, and I think it's well-suited for the modern metagame. I don't think you need to change anything here. So if you're playing an event this weekend, like literally, I would just package this up and play it. Like I get questions all the time about, what do you think of my list? What do you think about this card in particular? And like, if I'm not playing it, there's a reason I'm not playing it. It's because I think these cards are better. So if that's your question, if that's your concern, this is my advice. Play this. Don't play anything else. Yeah, this list was great. I'm happy that we're like consistently getting these results over and over and over again. And the only deck we lost to was this really terribly constructed, calibrated blast deck that we played in round 1. After having played that match, it was brought to my attention that apparently that's a aspiring Spike brew. It looks terrible to me. I mean, Spike brews some pretty amazing decks that looked horrendous. So sorry, Spike, but not your finest work. And I'm not just bitter that I lost. It just didn't seem like all of those cards belonged in the same deck. I get the idea, but I don't think that's the way to go. So that is going to be it for the week. That is going to be it for today's video. I want to give my viewers a heads up next week. I'm going to do my best to get our normal videos out and to you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with shorts on Tuesday and Thursday. But I am being displaced from my apartment tomorrow. There's a little bit of an issue that I need to be moved out for. And for that reason, I'm not going to have my computer on me, I don't think. I might make some different style videos for next week. I might make some reaction videos next week where I kind of use some pre-existing matches and just kind of talk through the lines. So hopefully that content is valuable and you guys enjoy that. But I don't know if I'm going to have gameplay videos up next week just because I need to be elsewhere because of potential health hazards within my apartment. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support as always. My patrons who frequently ask me really great questions, and today I got to kind of talk through one of those questions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will see you all again next week, hopefully. And until then, you know the deal, everybody. Be well.